Police. There we go. So welcome, everybody. I'm going to ask you all to mute, please, if you haven't already. This is a Sedona Method Goals workshop. And I'm Stephen Carlson, and what we're going to do is start with a good, long, guided release about your feelings around goals. And by the way, thank you. Many of you submitted those feelings to the goals forum we have on WhatsApp. And then following that, we're going to just troubleshoot your goal statements, see if we can get those exactly the way we need them, and then release on them. And then if we have time, we'll do a little releasing on the action steps as well. This call will last an hour and a half. And let's get started. So just allow yourselves to be. Allow things to rest and just be. Take a moment and check inside how you feel about goals, about the process of setting goals, about your past experiences with goals, successes, failures, struggles, about your future expectations for goals. And when you're ready, just check inside. Whatever you came up with, does that come from a desire for control, approval, security, or oneness? And whatever came up, could you just allow it to be like that, just for now? And then when you're ready, could you let that go? Could you just let it slip away, dissolve? Good. And now, think about your past experiences with goals. The feelings of success, failure, frustration, your feelings about your past experiences with goals. And just notice what comes up. Notice the images, sensations in the body, thoughts, any kind of stories attached or beliefs. And just as best you can, open and allow all of this to be just as it is, just for now. And then when you're ready, check, is there any sense in which you'd like to control how you feel? Check and see if there's any sense of it being personal, about you, who you are. And then, just as best you can, could you just let that go? Could you let that fade, dissipate, disappear? And take another breath. And just think again about your past experiences working with goals. Perhaps there were repeated failures, frustrations, struggles. Just notice whatever came up. Notice the stories, images and sounds and memories. And pay also attention to what's happening in the body, any physical sensations. Sometimes that's how feelings show up. And just as best you can, would you allow it all? Open yourself to what's come up. Just give it permission to be like that for a moment. And then, just as best you can, could you let that go? Would you? When? And then, let's turn to the feelings that you have about the future, your expectations about goals, questioning your own ability, questioning whether this is even worthwhile or not, doubting the future, expecting failure. Whatever comes up in regards to the future, your own goals, and your ability or the universe's ability to make these things happen, just notice all the feelings that come up. Check inside and see if there's any sensation in the body. Notice any thoughts, images, sounds. And check also for any stories or beliefs that come up. And whatever came up, whatever you've discovered, could you just give that permission to be here? It's here anyway. Check and see if there's any desire to control this, make it go away, figure it out, let go of it, hold on to it. Whatever resistance came up, could you just let it be like that for a moment? And then, any chance it might feel personal? These are your goals. So just allow it to feel personal if that's what's coming up. And then when you're ready, let's check and see. Can you find the one who feels that way, the sense of the individual? And then, if anything came up, could you just let that go? Could you just allow that to dissipate, dissolve, drop? And one last time, let's go back and check about how you feel about the future, about your expectations for success, failure, regarding your goals. The feeling that this might be impossible, any frustration, anticipation of difficulty, struggle. Just notice how you feel about the future and your goals and your ambitions and dreams. And since it's like that, can you give it permission to be like that for a moment longer? Just open up a little bit. And then check and see if there might be any desire to change this, any resistance. And if resistance is here, could you just honor it, allow it, let it be like that? And then, any chance this feels personal? And if it does, could you just allow that? Let it be like that, just for now. And then let's just check and see, is any of this you? If all of this goes away, these feelings and thoughts, Would you disappear? Or is it possible that you're simply aware of thoughts and feelings, emotions and stories? And just for a moment longer, could you rest as the awareness that you are and allow all to be as it is? And then just check and see, is it possible there might also be courage? It takes courage to take it. It takes courage to set a goal. It takes courage to get on a call like this. Check and see. Any chance there might also be courage present? And could you welcome courage? And notice how the body reacts to that feeling of courage. Just check and see. For some people, there might be just a little tingling. It might be an energetic sensation somewhere in the body, or maybe not. Could you, just as best you can, welcome courage? And I'll give you one more hint. Smiling actually helps it, encourages it to come. So just welcome the courage that you are. And allow yourself to rest as courage. And just for fun, let's also notice something else. Right next to courage, gratitude. So could you welcome gratitude? And again, gratitude actually comes up easier with a smile on your face. So could you just allow yourself to feel grateful? How interesting that gratitude and courage are so similar to each other. I'll give you a hint. Gratitude and courage are both flavors of love. So could you just allow love to be? And allow yourself to rest as the love that you are. And again, pay attention to what's happening in the body. Notice how the body reacts. And could you just send love out into the world and allow love to shine through your heart, through your life? And could you allow that to be enough just for now? Ooh, that feels like a good place to stop. So, if you would like to raise your hand, I can step up and troubleshoot your goals, help you release on goals, answer questions. And if nobody raises their hand, then we'll see what happens. So I see Kristen has raised her hand. Hello, Kristen.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
What is a little bit time since your last session here? Can you hear me?
Yes, I didn't quite understand what you just said. My last session here, what was that?
It's a long time ago. Right. I have new goals now.
Oh, you have new goals? Good. Tell
Yes,
us.
I need to find a new home.
A new home.
And that's
Okay.
as fast as possible because I have the massive problems here at home with my landlady and got it noticed already, but I need a home where I'm feeling safe, where I'm feeling good, but is closer to work and blah, blah, blah. So I have already started the search, have asked for help and all, but I
Okay.
still think I don't do enough.
All right. Well, so would you like some help in putting this into a goal statement?
Yes, please.
And have you tried this already? Do you have a goal statement that you'd like to offer, or
Uh, excuse me. Yeah, the last time we had used that I'm open to find or I'm open to whatever. So in this case, I would say I'm open to find the right place where I feel safe.
okay? But notice when you say it that way, you're
Hmm.
talking about something that's going to happen in the future.
Right.
Would you rather be open to finding a home, or would you rather enjoy
Have
the
it.
comfort of your new home?
Yes. I would like to have it. Yes.
So that's a big tip right there. We need to put these goals in the present tense rather than the future tense, because we don't want to be continually hoping.
Yes,
So
yes.
how about, is there a way that you can put that in the present tense?
Right. I'm just get my pen ready. I'm open
Well, since
to
maybe I
live.
can make a suggestion for you.
Yeah.
You mentioned comfort, convenience, safety. Is that right?
Safety, big. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Safety. Yeah.
Well, how about this, just to make it simple? I allow myself to enjoy the comfort, safety, and convenience of my new home.
I love myself. I love myself too. What what did
To,
you say?
to enjoy the safety, that seems to be a big priority, safety, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I allow myself to enjoy the safety,
Mm.
comfort,
Comfort, yeah.
and convenience of my new home.
Yes.
But again, those are my words. Make sure that they feel like your words.
I just write this down and I will see is right for me.
Yeah, that's actually one of the most important things about this process. Whatever goal statement that you come up with, it really needs to feel right for you. That's very important.
Yes.
So could you just repeat the goal statement out loud and see how it feels?
Okay. I allow myself to enjoy the safety, comfort, and convenience in my new home.
And how does that feel?
Warm, nice, cuddly, good.
Good. All right, then we're on the right track. And so I see Wani, or I'm tempted to say Vani, however you like to pronounce your name. Would you like to
Um,
unmute?
Wani, uh, hello.
Hello.
Maki enjoy this meeting.
It's hard to understand you. It sounds like your voice is a little bit muffled or muted. Could you speak into your
Mm-hmm.
microphone, perhaps?
Mm, hello. How about
Hello.
now? Hello.
Let's try that. I think it might be better. Go ahead.
Um, my my goal is allow myself easily have $1 million.
I heard $1 million. I allow myself. What was the rest of it?
Easily have $1 million.
Evenly have?
Yes, easily.
Easily, got you. I allow myself to easily have $1 million.
Yes.
Okay. So one thing we're also looking for, does that feel possible? Does that feel realistic to you?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect, yeah.
Mm,
So I allow myself to easily have $1 million.
yes.
Okay. Well, so if
Mm,
it feels correct to you, if it feels natural and doable, then that could be a good goal for you.
yes. Yes.
Okay, then.
Uh, yes. Mm,
Is
I
there any,
really,
go ahead.
I think this is means security and safety.
Oh, okay. And you're telling me that these are the wants that come up in relation to the goal?
Wanting safety.
Right?
Wanting safety.
Well, so very often what we discover is that even though we think that we want something, what we really want is more on the level of the emotion. So I'm going to ask you, is it so important to have $1 million, or would you rather just have the security and safety?
Mm, $1 million. $1 million.
Okay.
Means many. This means many choice, and I can do many things.
Okay. Right. Well, so if that goal statement feels okay, it feels good for you right now, then I'm going to move on to the next person, because after we troubleshoot the goal statements, what we're going to do is release on these goal statements together. Does that
Oh,
sound okay?
okay. Thank you.
Good. All right, then. So next I see Ahogne. Hello. You can
Hi,
unmute.
Stephen.
Hi.
Hey. Good to connect again.
Good to connect again. So do you have a goal statement that you'd like to work with, troubleshoot?
Yes. So I'm kind of working on my transition from my normal career, and I want to restart my coaching business again. So
Okay.
I written down, I allow myself to efficiently and effortlessly run a successful coaching business. It's kind of my working title while listening to this.
I allow myself to easily and effortlessly run my coaching business. That's correct?
Efficiently and effortlessly
And
run a
efficiently and
successful
effortlessly, yeah.
coaching business.
Okay. Well, so the first question I have for you is, does that feel right?
Oh, I do feel some resistance.
Well, resistance isn't a bad thing. So yeah, your goal statement will definitely bring up feelings, and that's the whole point of it. Yes.
Yeah.
But again, the question I'm asking is, does this feel appropriate for you? Does this feel like it's yours, your statement, your goal?
Feels a bit like taken out of the program with Hale from the examples there. So no, it doesn't really feel fully mine.
Interesting. So yeah, what is it about the coaching business that matters most to you?
Good question. Helping others,
Okay.
self-expression.
self-expression,
Yeah,
financial stability, safety,
that will
comfort.
be helpful. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
financial stability.
Uh-huh. So again, what I'm
And
doing here by
also,
digging, go ahead. Yeah.
mhm,
Well, I'm trying to discover what are the underlying wants beneath that so that we can maybe even fit it more closely to what you really want. But you were going to say
yeah.
something.
Yeah, it's kind of, I wanted to get more in alignment with who I really am. And my current career costs me a lot of energy, though it pays well. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to make the same amount of money from coaching than from my job.
So could you repeat that? You want to make as much money or you don't want to?
Now, I would love to make as much money from coaching as from my job. That would be much better for me.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so how can we find a statement which is more in line with who you are and your values? In what you said to me, it seems that helping others is a big part of this. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. How about I allow myself to serve others as a coach?
Mm.
And again, I'm trying to make it simple, so I didn't include anything else but just the serving aspect of it.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That feels good.
Yeah. Does that feel like it's going to work for you?
Yeah. Though I'm kind of looking also if there is a monetary component I would like to add.
I allow myself to enjoy a comfortable living serving others as a coach.
Yeah, that could work.
Mm-hmm. I allow myself to earn a comfortable income serving others as a coach. That could work as well.
Yeah, that one was better.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That's
So
good.
is that good for now? Okay.
Yes, it is. Thank
All
you.
right. Good for now. Yeah, okay. Marie-Francoise, I see you're next. Could you unmute and say hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello again.
Hi. So we're just trying to figure out our statement or something right now? Is that what you're doing?
Exactly.
Not working on it.
Well, but go ahead and yeah, we're going to be doing well. What would you like? Ask a question. We can still
Okay,
work.
I think I have my goal statement that I would use for this, which
Okay.
is I allow myself to be a successful, well-paid, consistently working actress.
Okay.
But I also heard you saying the goal has to feel natural and doable. That does feel natural and doable to me, but there is an element of, oh, it's not possible. So I kind of got confused. Like, if you talk about the odds, if you're gonna bring you $1 million, is that doable? I mean, like, why is that a question? That to me already puts a limitation on it. Like, I don't know.
Well, so yeah.
Is that an odds question?
Part of the point of
if
the
you don't know
goal.
that, right?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I wasn't sure if it was an odds question because then it just kind of throws me out of it because, the odds of winning $1 million, the odds of, acquiring X, Y, and Z, unless it's a very traditional conforming path, there's really kind of no way to know that.
Well, so yeah, let's just talk for a second about this feeling of whether it's achievable or not. Your goal is going to be a stretch. That's the whole point of the goal. It's going to take you a little bit out of your current experience and comfort, perhaps. However, If it's too extreme or too unrealistic, then there's just going to be too much opposition internally. I allow myself to enjoy $1 billion. For me personally, is just, nah, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound realistic. It just doesn't seem achievable. For you, perhaps, I allow myself to earn an Oscar this year. That might be the same. It's not necessarily going to happen that easily, is it?
It
However,
depends. It could. That has happened
well,
to
it
people.
could, if you
Most
feel that way.
definitely. A lot of people who people thought would never earn, they did. So this is what I'm talking about. They
Again.
totally could. I totally could. I totally could. That would be amazing, but I totally could. I could book something and go to some festivals and next year be at the Oscars. Oh yeah.
So,
That's the nature of my business. That's what I'm saying.
okay.
That's what I'm.
Well, so,
Who gets to decide? Who gets to determine what's realistic? I mean, plenty of people who say they want to be an artist, everybody comes at them. That's not realistic. You can't do that. You don't have this. You don't have that. I mean, I don't know.
well, we're not talking about what other people are saying. We're talking about how you feel about that. And if you feel it's doable, like you say, okay.
But people who make it, they will say they never thought they could do this. They never thought it would happen, blah, blah, blah. And then they're standing there. So they also thought that.
But going back to the statements you gave me, the only thing about it that I would maybe change a little bit is to simplify it somewhat. I allow myself to be a successful actress or actor.
Successful is really too broad. That can
Okay,
mean
then.
anything. People think successful is standing outside on the street acting. It's not successful to me.
That's not your ambition, is
I
it?
don't want the universe to get confused at all.
All right.
I'm not talking about that.
Okay, so repeat your goal statement once again, please.
I allow myself, I've changed it a little bit, but I always has to have money in there. But I allow myself to be a successful, well-paid, consistently working actress. I also want to put in doing work I love too, because that can be, you can be doing work. So there's a lot of different factors, and I'm always like, if I make it really broad, it needs to still be understood what I mean. You see what I'm saying? It can't just be, oh, I would be happy being in a hall, or I'd be happy on the side. Yeah, I know, you know, because then I've been told that, oh, well, you didn't specify the money. Oh, you didn't specify you wanted to like it. You didn't specify, oh, but you didn't specify this part. You weren't, I don't want to have that conversation. I want it to be clear. So that's why I would like it to be simple, but then it's so broad.
Yeah.
If I get something I don't, you know, just like a little confused about it, actually.
Yeah. Well, let me just check and see. Are you trying to control this whole process?
Yes. So that I do not. Yesterday I slipped and fell after coming from an audition. Yes. I don't want any more mishaps.
Well, just for now, could you just let go of that desire to control? If you could, would you?
Yeah.
There you go. And could you be open to the possibility of intuitive guidance?
Yes.
Any resistance to that, perhaps? Wonderful. Perfect. And by the way, if it isn't completely obvious, that's actually a release right there. Nice. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something. If you're successful and you're well paid, do you need to include consistently booked?
No, I suppose.
How about I allow myself to be a successful, well-paid actress doing what I love?
I like that.
Yeah. Again, we're looking for something simple and, again, something that feels appropriate to you. And I guess what I was sensing from the last statement was a little bit of anxiety, holding on, trying to control about the whole process. And maybe the statement here feels just a little bit easier, a little bit more allowing flow.
Yes.
So could you repeat the statement once again?
I allow myself to be a successful, well-paid actress doing what I love.
How does that feel?
That feels good because the doing
Nice.
what I love covers a lot. Yes. In my
Perfect.
mind, rest my mind. Yes. My mind starts going, but it makes it. I said, doing what I love. That covers it. Thank you. That was great.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And Lorenz, I see you here. If you could unmute.
Yes,
How can I
hi
help?
Stephen.
How can I help you,
Hi.
Lorenz?
Well, we were goal setting, right?
Goal setting, yes.
Yeah. So I would like to serve 25 top tier clients in an easy, relaxed way.
Okay.
And so top tier means yeah, I have certain tiers, and so that
Top
would
tier
be
means top tier, what it means to you.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. Does that goal statement feel like it belongs to you? Does it feel right?
Yes and no. Um, it feels achievable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it feels like a stretch. So
Um,
there are two elements. There's the easy and relaxed, which is a stretch, and there's the quantity, which is also a stretch. But both feel achievable. So there's courageousness around it.
mhm.
Yeah, and the caveat is that there's really no desire to work.
Right.
Um, but if I would set the goal to just like have X amount of money without working, then I have the difficulty that it doesn't feel doable anymore.
Let me just ask you, do you enjoy your work?
To some extent,
Okay.
but it's if I didn't need the money, I wouldn't do it, or I would, let's say I would do much less.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, could you repeat the goal statement that you started with?
Yeah. I allow myself to serve 25 top tier clients in an easy, relaxed way,
Mm-hmm.
and the feeling it evokes is mainly courageousness and some resistance.
And again, what I'm getting down to is this feeling of enjoying your work,
Mm.
um, and so if you say 25
Yeah.
clients, so
Okay,
here's
no, it
go ahead.
would. I'm getting. Let's try something else. Like, let's say I allow myself to genuinely enjoy my work.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that feels lighter.
nice. Right. And would that statement be enough for now then?
Yeah, actually, it would.
Perfect.
Mm.
What you may discover, by the way, you mentioned 25 clients, but you could just, if you really, really enjoy what you're doing, then maybe 10 clients could be enough working part-time.
And it, that's. I mean, I could get by on that, but yeah, well,
Or you
that's
could
a
raise
different
your
story.
rates. You could raise the
Yeah,
prices.
yeah. I raised them very recently and quite dramatically.
Good.
Um, so yeah, but I would actually like to focus on the enjoyment aspect because The other thing is actually developing quite well.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it would like uh, so yeah, I'd focus for now on the enjoyment and the ease part, and then the separate like the quantity and pricing and all that from that a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect. That sounds good.
yeah,
There's a lot less holding on and pushing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And if, I really would like first to have more ease and more enjoyment before like ramping up the quantity and all that stuff. Like it makes more sense.
Perfect. Okay then.
Thanks.
Okay. So if that's good for now, I will move on to Alejandra, and I'll ask you to mute, Lawrence, if you could. Alejandra, could you unmute? And I'd be glad to help you.
Sure. How are you, Stephen?
Doing okay. Oh, thanks for asking.
Sure. Yeah, I posted on the WhatsApp. I I like some help with that. My statement. I've been a life coach for few years, like maybe 8, 9 years, but I was getting a lot of clients as referrals from a mentor, and I decided to let go of that and really try to do it on my own. Like it was time to take that step, and I did.
Mhm.
And I tried to advertise on Facebook. That didn't work very well. It was too expensive. Now I'm advertising in Google, and it's doing pretty well. It's a lot better. So I do have that fear of that doubt of, okay, you've really tried in the past and you've really never manifested anything, which is a little bit exaggerated. It's not that bad. I think I've done a lot.
Mhm.
And but that fear of not being capable to get clients on my own, fear of losing the clients that I have now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that doubt of incapacity to make it on my own, because I've worked for this person for years and I still work for her,
Mhm.
but I decided to just, yeah, to start on my own and really just, kind of like prove to myself that I can do it and that I don't really need anyone to depend on anyone. That's what I want. I want my freedom.
Okay, so I tell you what, let's release a little bit on that fear, and then we can work on a goal statement. So would you
Sure.
like that? So
Absolutely. Mhm.
could you just allow yourself to feel that fear?
Yeah.
And notice what this is. This is a prediction of disaster.
Yeah, catastrophizing for sure.
Exactly, yeah. And
Keeping
so,
me in survival.
right, just notice how it shows up, the thoughts, images, how it feels in the body. And by the way,
Yeah.
does it show up as sensation in the body? Is that a big thing for you?
I think so. I've been having some terrible backache that I haven't been able to get rid of with
Uh-huh.
anything. I think it's that
Interesting. Okay.
survival.
And is that here right now, that backache?
Yes, it is.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, could you focus on that just exclusively right now? Just put that into your focus.
Sure.
And just for now, is it possible you could just let go of all the explanations for that and just allow it to be raw sensation in the body?
Sure.
Good. And could you just give it permission to be like that just for now?
Yes.
Okay. And let's just see, is that sensation you? If that sensation disappears, do you disappear?
No.
Okay.
It
So is
could go. Yeah.
is it possible that you're simply aware of sensation in the body?
Yes.
So notice already how it's shifted in taking that perspective.
A lot lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then let's go back to that original statement of fear.
Mhm.
Again, could you just welcome the fear? Allow that to be here.
Yes.
And notice that it's pointing at something, an outcome.
Yeah.
So just for now, could you let go of wanting that to happen?
The catastrophizing, you mean the
Right.
fear to happen? Sure.
The fear is saying that this is going to happen, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to end up penniless on the street,
Yeah.
right?
You are reading my mind.
So just for now, could you let go of wanting that to happen?
Yes. Yes.
Would you?
Absolutely.
When?
Right now.
Good. Okay. So let's just check into the goal statement. Do you have a goal statement?
I just wrote one while
Sure.
you started the call. I wrote, I am thankful for all these new clients committed to their healing. Because, oh, that's the other one, that I get a client here and there and they commit for a month, but it's like they're not fully committed to their healing. So it's hard. Yeah, they get scared, I guess.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's not easy. Yeah.
Well, that's how it seems at the moment, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that this is a story, what you've just told me?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so notice that stories are constructed from memories,
Mm-hmm.
and you've probably chosen the worst possible examples, right?
Oh yeah, the horror movie for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, the story points in a direction, and that direction is usually disaster.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But then again, notice how this is really just a story.
Yeah.
And just for now, could you let go of wanting to be the one with that story?
Yes.
And could you let go of wanting to make that story real?
Oh yeah.
Right. And check and see, is there rest beyond all stories?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, let's do the goal statement. Could you just read your goal statement?
Sure. It says, I am thankful for all these new clients committed to their healing.
And so how does that feel to you? Does that feel like the right statement?
It feels good.
Mm-hmm. Would that be enough for now?
I think so. Do you like the statement? Because you're good at it. I already noticed.
Oh, I don't like that statement.
Okay, perfect. So
It's not the
let's.
statement for me. It's not about me.
Okay, well, of course. But does it sound right? Does it sound?
Again, you're asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I have to ask myself. I know you're absolutely right. Yeah, it feels right to me.
If there was
Yeah,
anything
it's
wrong,
that looking for your validation, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
if there
Yeah.
were anything wrong with it, technically, I would tell you. But no, it's yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. So
Sure.
I'll
Okay.
work with that for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I really
Good.
appreciate it, Stephen. Thank you so
Glad to be of
much.
service, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Deborah, hello. Could you unmute and we'll see what we can do. Deborah, are you there? One more time. Real Deborah. There we go.
Hi, I'm Deborah. Yeah, I'm sorry, I could not figure
Deborah,
out
did I say? Yeah, okay.
Google Meet just yet. I'm still learning. I was hoping it was going to be a Zoom link, but it wasn't. Okay.
Okay.
Whew. Okay, so I know it's going to sound like I have a flair for the dramatic, but I really don't. But when I tried to set a goal, I I just went in, I almost passed out. Like all I started to think about was every program I ever tried, every book I ever bought, and so I don't actually have a goal except for just to be calm because um, trying to set a goal to bring in income or do anything else just didn't work. And I have access to income, but the reason I always wanted to set a goal is because I'm not the person that earned it. And I'd like to feel like I'm capable, but alas, it is just not come to fruition. So I figured I need to make a goal other than something about money.
Well, let's start with the feelings that you just expressed, okay?
I'm not even sure how to describe them. It was just
Well, you
like I
don't
was
need to.
okay.
It's okay. But it sounds like there's a bit of a traffic jam, if you will. So
Hmm.
just for now, could you just allow all of the feelings to be here?
Um,
And they don't have to have names. Just allow sensations in the body that come up in relation to these goals,
yeah, yeah.
and any images, sounds, thoughts.
It feels like a Nightmare on Elm Street type situation.
Right. Is it
That's how.
possible that that could be overwhelm? Just so many things coming up?
Yeah, everything. Fear, failure. You're gonna do it again. Will you make the money back? Just everything.
On a scale to 1 to 10, and 10 is the most intense, where are we?
Oh, so far past 10.
Perfect. Okay. All right, then. Let me ask you, does this, so again, we know that feelings come up as thoughts in the mind, and they come up as sensations in the body. And for you, what seems to be the stronger thing, the mental or the physical?
Well, it starts off mental, and then I start to think about what I can do physically. Um,
So the
which,
mind is active, is what you're saying, more than the sensations in the body. Is that right?
yeah.
Okay. So just notice the mind being the mind. And could you
Um,
just give it permission to be as confused, chaotic, and disastrous as it seems to be right now? Would you give it permission to be like that just for now? Not
sure.
forever,
Yeah.
just for now. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah.
But then notice also that desire to control all this, make it all go away, figure it out. That's called
Yeah.
resistance. So just notice the resistance to the mind.
Mm.
Right. And
Mm.
then any chance this just might feel personal.
Yes, it's personal.
Of course.
Yes,
And again,
definitely.
just can you allow that feeling of it being personal? Just let it feel like that way for now.
Uh,
Okay. Good. And notice also that just this little bit has taken just a little pressure away.
yeah.
Okay. Well, so let's just see, are all these things you? Are you that crazy spinning mind?
It feels like it.
Feels like it. There you have it. Thank you. Good.
It feels
Could you
like it.
welcome and just allow that feeling of how personal and how much it is you? Yeah.
Mm.
And if you could trade all that for freedom, would you make that deal?
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
would you? Yeah.
Yes.
When?
Oh, right now. Of course,
Perfect.
now.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And if it helps, just imagine a door opening up and everything releasing. Sometimes visualizing like that can help a little bit. Yeah.
The door, or just
Well,
visualizing
that
the
was
door, or visualizing everything I
however it
can
works
have.
for you. Sometimes just opening up your arms like that can be enough. And sometimes visualizing a window opening up in your body. Sorry, that's just what came up for me right now. Sometimes that helps people to actually visualize. So,
And that's part of the problem, the visualizing, the seeing yourself without something or something being better. And that's been a huge problem because I'm paralyzed, and that seems to be the 800-pound gorilla that sits on everything. As soon as I try to think that I can do anything, then I get reminded of, well, you can't move your arms and you can't do this, and so it's really feeling like I'm wasting time.
mhm.
Even
Okay.
setting a goal because
So what you just said right there, again, hello?
yeah, that was me. I'm sorry. I had to get someone's attention.
It's okay. You got it. So what you just expressed right there, could you open yourself to that feeling of I can't,
Uh,
just as best you can, and notice this comes up as, again, the chaotic thoughts, the feelings in the body.
yeah, and then it goes from the mind and it sort of vacillates between the two. Like, what are you doing? This doesn't make any sense. You know,
Yeah, yeah. But again, it's enough right now just to allow it to be like that for one moment longer, just right now.
it's
And
really
then notice,
heavy.
go ahead.
It's just really heavy. And
Of course. And then notice the resistance, because you don't want to feel this, of course not.
no, it's exhausting.
Right, exactly. And it's exhausting. I know this is counterintuitive. Of course, you don't want to feel that, but the not wanting is what holds it in. So let's go back and forth just a little bit. Could you allow all of the confusion, all of the I can't, all of the frustration, the thoughts, the sensations? And then how much you don't want to feel that, the resistance. And then the thoughts and feelings. And then the resistance, the struggle. And once again, the thoughts, the feelings, I can't, the frustration, overwhelm. And then the resistance, how much you don't want to feel this. And just for now, just as best you can, could you let go of that resistance?
Yes.
And would you?
Yes.
And when?
No.
Okay. So what's here now, Deborah? And by the way, I'm hearing good news. It helps to release in that way. This is a liquid release, and that's just fine.
It feels like the heaviness is moving, but it's moving.
No, it's okay. Well, it may take a little longer to dissipate like that, but that feels like something has shifted already. could I propose a goal statement for you?
Okay.
The very simplest one might be this: I allow myself to feel that I can.
You said, let me repeat what you said. I allow
I
myself
allow
to feel
myself to feel that I can.
that I can. I allow myself to feel that I can.
And again, this is just the inspiration that came from the moment. Again, the question is whether that feels right to you. But I'm just suggesting a simple, easy step.
Or at least it doesn't feel heavy the way it did when I tried to make my own goal. I mean, it
Well,
feels
this is already
doable.
progress, it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah. That I can. Yeah, I can work with that goal.
That might be a good step right there. But again, and by the way, here's a little bit of this might be helpful.
Okay.
We think that setting goals is about achieving this, that, or the other. And of course, that's part of it, yes.
Right.
But the other part of this process is all of what comes up as you release on the goals. And so if you have a goal that says, I allow myself to feel that I can, what do you think that brings up?
Well, what came up was I can what? What can you do? Tell us what.
Well, okay, maybe you want to fill in the blank if that's necessary. But the point really is that it will bring up all of the feelings of I can't. And that's what needs to be released.
Okay.
Does that sound appropriate?
It sounds appropriate and doable. Yes, I can do that.
And again, and you can fill in the blank. I allow myself to, whatever it is, you can fill in the blank when you're ready as well. We can continue. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That
Okay,
feels
then.
doable. Thank you.
Sure. So this call is going on until 9:30 Pacific. So there's another half hour minus 4 minutes. And I do want to move in towards releasing on goals. But I see Lawrence has his hand up again. So let me just invite you, Lawrence, to step up if you'd like. You'll need to unmute. Or maybe you
Oh,
didn't need
now
to.
I am
Oh,
muted. I am muted. Yeah.
okay, good. Yeah. So what can I do for you?
Question is something I stumble over in the Sedona method, which is the expectation of the negative outcome associated with fear.
Right.
Sometimes it said, can you let go of expecting that to happen? And
Right.
sometimes it said, can you let go of wanting that to happen?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
I'm always a bit put off by the wanting it to happen part.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
So can
No.
you explain that?
Yeah. Sure. Happy to do that. Yeah. So, you know, what this really addresses are those feelings and desires which are below the level of awareness. And
Okay.
when we start off on this process, it's actually quite astonishing how much is below awareness.
Yeah.
And yeah. And so let me put it this way. If there's a fear that something will happen, then it's actually making a prediction that something is going to happen, right?
Sure. Sure.
Now, let me ask
It's
you a
an
question.
expectation.
Do you like being right? Because I know I do.
Sure.
Well, so
Yeah.
you get me. there is a secret kind of, and it doesn't have to make sense, by the way, because emotions don't make sense, but there's a secret desire that this will happen, because who wants to be wrong, right? Maybe you've invested so much time and energy in this fear.
Yeah.
And the other
Okay,
part
that I can definitely understand like this. If
God.
I would feel like a fool if it were to dissolve, because I spent 20 years obsessing about it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If it were just magically to go away, it's like, whoa, what have I done with my life? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And there are two very important elements of this as well, too. Feelings don't have to make sense. Absolutely not. In fact,
True.
they don't. And the second thing is,
Mm-hmm.
it's not personal. It's not like you decided to feel this way. It's just what's coming up.
Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
I think those two things right there are very liberating understandings. So
Mm-hmm.
good.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Let me give one more call. Oh, I was hoping somebody else. Cicely, you're welcome to unmute.
Yeah, hello. No, that
I was just going to say, I thought that one more person still wanted to step up, and I was right. It was you.
yeah, that last part, maybe that's my issue right there. Because it's kind of like my story is, I was raised in religion that taught scarcity, poverty mindset. You weren't really supposed to have nothing in this world. You had to wait till you get to the next world.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's kind of like I've been in this new city. It ain't new anymore. I guess I've been here like a little over 6 years. And it's kind of like there's organizations that help me, and they can help me get like apartments, and they can help me. I could have went back to school before the COVID and all that. And it's kind of like each time I lose my place, it's like, because I was thinking about that. Why it's like a pattern. It always seems to happen around this time of year.
Right.
And it's always like I'll have like a job and I'll be going good. And then it's kind of like something that happened, and the first time I got sick, what happened? The second time I got sick, and this time I'm trying not to let it happen because I'm trying to do something different. And maybe that's it, because it's kind of like my body is saying, like I'm thinking, why? It's for some reason, because I'm trying to start a business too, and it's like it's for some reason I'm saying, why is it not letting me go? Because I got all the information, and it's like the universe is sending me all these synchronicities, and it's like I'll go, but then my body be like, oh wait, stop, you can't, you're going too much, and then it's kind of like I'll be down for a minute, then I'll get behind, and then it'll become overwhelming. It's kind of like,
is it possible that all of this is a story?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so notice again how stories are constructed.
Mm-hmm.
Memories. You've chosen memories. And those memories are the worst possible examples. Is that right? The worst cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because the other day, because like in my 20s and 30s, I actually had like a dog grooming salon, but I had, it was like my biological, I had people to support me, I felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day it was like my body was trying to tell me, oh, you're not going to be good, but then it's kind of like I started remembering stuff like what I did do,
Mm-hmm.
like some of the good things. And today I don't, and y'all, I'm sorry, I don't know, every time it's time for my period, my menstrual cycle, it's kind of like that's when my mind starts getting like delusional more like.
Okay.
And it's kind of like right now we're having this talk, and like in the next 5 days when it's all gone, it'll probably be totally different stories coming up.
Well, so if I could summarize what you just said right there, wasn't that just the mind trying to defend the story?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And let's be clear about what this is. Stories are not bad things. We use stories to communicate with each other and entertain each other and to teach each other. And so the mind uses stories, and that's not a bad thing. The difficulty comes when we believe them to be true. Stories are only representations. They're not the truth. However, the mind does love a good story. And if you've invested in that story, the mind will step up and say, yes, but, right?
Yes.
And again, this is just the mind doing what the mind does.
Mm.
And there's no sense in fighting the mind. The mind is simply trying to help. Do you have a sense of that?
I do, but it's kind of like, why is it giving me the story that on my own I can't release the story, but like when I come to groups like this, I can release it.
Well, does it matter?
Well, because y'all aren't always here, but my mind's always doing something to me. It's always giving me a
Of course it
story.
does. Of course it does, yeah. Now, one thing that helps is just to recognize that this is a story. And let's play with that just a little bit. Could you allow the story to feel as serious and as true, heavy as it possibly is? Okay? Could you?
Yes.
All right. And then if you're open to it, could you just recognize that this is simply a story?
Yes.
Right. But then could you just allow it to feel as serious, as real, as inevitable as it seems to feel?
Well, right here in this moment, it don't feel real.
Right. But then notice also, isn't this just a story? Something constructed from memories, very selective memories, something the mind has basically tried to offer you as a tool to help you. Do you have a sense of that?
I'm trying to get that as a tool to help me.
Right. Well, so stories, again, we construct stories from memories. But again, we're very selective about those memories. Isn't that right? Do you have a sense of that? You've chosen the worst possible cases.
Yes.
There might be cases where that didn't happen, right?
Yes.
Oh. And the story points towards an outcome. And it's usually a warning, isn't it? If you don't do this, or if this continues, then that will happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, so do you see how the mind is actually trying to help?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's trying to help you avoid disaster, whatever. But
Because I
again,
guess that's where it gets confusing. Like, I can't tell the difference in like if it's like the mind or it's just like the higher power, and which one's trying to help me and which one is.
yes. Well, okay. Well, let's just play with that story just a little bit, if you'd like to, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So again, could you allow that story to feel as real as it seems to feel?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then check and see if there's any sense of you need to do something about this. Mhm.
It feels like I need to pray harder to the higher power to quiet the mind.
Right. So again, the sense that you need to take action, you need to do something.
Control it.
Right. Just notice that. And then check and see, does it feel personal? Is this story a reflection of who and what you are?
It kind of makes me feel kind of weak because it's like it feels I don't have control over my mind. I have to ask for the higher power to help me.
Well, okay, let's play with that. So can you just allow yourself to feel how much you want to control the mind?
Yes.
Right.
I mean, I
So-
like it, but there's a time, and I like my mind, but I wanted, to, like you said, to control it. Yeah.
Yeah, so just allow yourself to feel that desire for control. And then, just for now, could you let go of wanting control?
Yes.
And would you let go of wanting control?
Yes, because if I don't, it's just going to keep doing it. So yes.
And when?
Now.
Okay. And could you be open to the possibility that your heart will lead you and guide you?
I forgot even that those were separate, the heart and the mind.
Oh, I see you're trying to figure this out.
Yes.
So just for now, could you let go of trying to figure that out? And just notice what's happening. The mind is just spinning round and round, trying to help, right? Trying to figure things out.
And then it's trying to give me, it's like, oh, you're just that way because you're a Leo, but yeah, that's a story too.
Notice also, as you let go of wanting to control the mind, what happens? It's becoming quieter now. And by the way, we can all take that as a very positive response. Perfect. Yay. No answer is also an answer. Bravo. Thank you. So just for now, just go back to that story that you told us, that wonderful story, and just allow all of that to be here. And when you're ready, could you let go of wanting to be the one with that story?
Actually, yes, I could. Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Could you let go of wanting to make that story real?
Well, it's like yes, I can, because if I let go of that, I can put something there that I want.
So yeah, could you allow that story to be what it is, a story? No more real than any other story.
As long as it doesn't keep me stuck.
And by the way, could you love the mind for being the mind?
Yeah.
And this goes for everybody. We all have active minds, and they all try to fight and to make the stories real and to preserve the stories. Actually, Lisbeth is right here, and she taught me this wonderful anatomy of a problem, right? And I saw that you raised your hand, Lisbeth. Maybe you can help me, because I'm not so sure I remember the whole thing, but you're the expert on this. So we come up with a problem or a story, and we look for evidence to make it real.
Yeah.
And we get invested in it because, damn it, it's my story, my problem, right?
Yes.
And what else happens? Because I might be missing.
We're explaining it to
Yes.
ourselves in our head
Yes.
and to others. We're
Right.
finding evidence and proof that it's real.
Yeah.
We also reject ourselves as well as the story and the problem. Yeah.
That's another important part of it. Yeah.
That's another. It's like noticing when you do that, and it's such an important part of the pattern. When you notice, oh my God, it's I'm using everything that is an evidence or that's proof that the problem is real.
Yeah.
Justifying all that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then, it's like I call it the roundabout. Then you're on the bottom of the roundabout. And then it becomes more real. It becomes even more real. The whole story, the whole issue, everything.
Mm-hmm. But again, fighting the mind.
You can get off the roundabout any moment, but preferably in the beginning when you realize, oh my God, here's the pattern, here's the story, here, oh my, I recognize all this, and then you can decide and do the questions like, you know, would I let this go? Am I willing to let it go?
Hmm.
See, that's what I know what you're talking about. You're talking the circle. I know I read with that in the book, but that's what I keep forgetting because it's kind of like I can see my mind going there. But that, I forget how you got off the circle. But that's it. You do the who, what, and when.
You need to find your own mantra or whatever kind of releasing exercise or practice what fits you to get off the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It can even be like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You know, it can be anything. It can be a word.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that who, what, and when was like the.
Yeah, that's great. But it can be anything else.
Mm-hmm. That's very useful, Lisbeth. Thank you. I'm glad I asked you. Cicely, you were also talking about the difference, you know, how do I know the difference between my mind and my heart? And it's very simple. I can help you with that. The mind is that constant chatter. The heart is that silence. But within that silence comes an intuitive knowingness. It's that sense that, yeah, this is it. This is the direction. It's that still small voice. And I know that's the words that we use in Christianity, but it's actually a wonderful expression of how the heart works. That still small voice, you can't hear it when the mind is going blah, 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 blah. But at that time, in those times when the mind is calmer, quieter, that still small voice, the intuitive knowingness comes and says, that's the right way. Do you have a sense of what I'm talking about?
Well, see, maybe that's the problem because when I was raised, we were taught the heart is treacherous. Don't listen to it. So maybe that's why I can't hear my heart because I've been taught not to listen to it because it's treacherous.
Well, let's see. Does that feel real, though? That statement that the heart is treacherous? Does that feel real?
Well, see, my thought was always, why do I have it? If why do I have these desires if I'm not supposed to listen to it? So I guess it's like it didn't really feel real, but that's what I was taught, so that's what I accepted.
Yeah, well, so we're taught many, many things that aren't true, and that's just part of growing up. But it's the stillness, the quiet. Well, so here's a very, very simple way to the heart, and we'll just do this together because I think it's a useful exercise. All right? And this is a question which you don't have to answer. It's a question which simply points. Is everybody ready?
Yeah, hold on, let me turn my mic because I might talk out loud.
So the simple thing is this: are you aware? And if it's more than that, are you aware? And there's no need to answer in words. Just notice where this question points. Are you aware? And just for now, could that be enough? Could you rest as that awareness? So Cicely, let me just ask you to unmute. Does that give you a sense of what I was talking about?
Yeah, I felt a quiet there. Well, it's like first like a quiet came there, and then a story tried to come up, but then the quiet came back. And it got me so tickled, then it got quiet again.
Well, so that simple question brings you into the heart. It brings you into non-dual awareness. It brings you into beingness. There are lots of words for this. This is where meditation points, right? And this is where we end up with the Sedona Method once we let go of limiting feelings, thoughts, beliefs, and so forth, stories. Yeah. What's left is
Awareness.
part of awareness. That still small voice. And that's where we find that intuitive guidance. That's where we find courage. That's where we find faith. Faith is simply the sense that everything is going in the right direction and that you can trust it. That's it right there. That's the difference between the mind and the heart. Now, the mind is the one that goes, yes, but.
Is it kind of like you know how I think it was Hill that was saying the I without the M attached to it, and it's like the heart is the I, but the mind puts the M on it or something like that.
Sure, that makes sense too. Yeah. The heart is simply that which is. And I love your response. That's exactly it. Whereas the mind, look, the mind actually has a very useful purpose. The mind is there to help us with survival. You know, you hear the roar of a lion and the mind says, oh, that means danger, run, that kind of thing. So the mind actually has this function in helping us to survive as physical beings, which is wonderful. But it tends to get, well, we put a huge emphasis on the mind in our current world, and the mind is actually quite useful, but it only takes us so far. And what happens very often is that we begin to fight the mind. You know, the mind is overactive. Deborah, you were talking, well, this was what we were witnessing as well. The mind is just saying you can't, la, 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 stories and so forth. And so the natural thing to do is to try and control the mind, resist the mind. Well, what do you think happens?
It gets louder, like it persists.
Right, because you're fighting with it. I don't want to feel this way. I'm going to fight that. And guess what happens? It intensifies. Totally counterintuitive. But if you just allow the mind to be the mind, it quiets. In fact, you know, we often talk about how, you know, the ego is the enemy. You hear this all the time. Fight the ego, get rid of the ego, kill the ego. No, that doesn't help. That sets up a battle. You want to fight the ego? Oh, fight the mind. It's ready to go. And you just go round and round and round all night long if you want. But if you love the mind, thank the mind for trying to help. The reality is the mind is actually trying to help in all circumstances. It really, really is. Although, let's be honest, it doesn't necessarily end up helping. But to recognize that the mind is trying to help, doing the best that it can, to love the mind, that helps to quiet it. It no longer needs to fight.
Sometimes it feels like it's wanting to fight like the higher power. Like I feel something was sent for, like, what is that, the law of inspired action? But it's kind of like, I feel like the angels or something will send it to me, but then my mind will bring up all this resistance against it.
Well, yeah. I mean, and this is part of the process, simply is recognizing those things and just letting those things go.
So that's part of being on the wheel too, whenever it tells me stuff
Absolutely.
like that. Okay.
And it's also called, I think the technical term is being human.
Is that what I am?
Well, we all struggle with it, you know, we all do. Yeah. So, listen, I'm okay with time as long as you guys are. We didn't really get a chance to release on our goals.
Yeah.
I'm willing to continue the call if you'll give me just 2 seconds to deal with biology. Excuse me, I've been drinking tea all morning. So, yeah, just a second and I'll be right back.
Cicely, I just wanted to share with you really quickly, if I can, that I grew up in a religious household as well. And I understand that particular scripture, that the heart is treacherous, but who can know it? I completely understand.
Yeah. Well, see, until he just mentioned that, it'd been a minute since I even thought about my heart, you know, like, and
Yeah.
then when he said that's the first thing that came up, well, I was told not to trust him.
And that doesn't make sense. Like, why would they tell you to, to put your hand over your heart when you say the Pledge of Allegiance? All these things that, take care of your heart, eat healthy, but the Bible tells us that the heart is treacherous. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I think that I've been actually taking a class where I'm learning the Hebrew, the actual language that some of the scriptures were written in, and sometimes the English translation doesn't always do it justice.
Well, it's kind of like I still have a Bible, but it's kind of like I'm stepping away from it for a minute just to see what else is out there.
Yeah, I understand. I'd had to do the same thing in order to stop feeling depressed and like I was bad or wrong all the time. Okay, the host is back.
Oh, the host of that. That's me.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm glad to hear you having a nice conversation. These are very important topics.
thank you.
Actually, I
No,
want.
it's just when you come from a religious background, it makes what we're doing very challenging.
Sure. Yeah. Understandably so. Yeah. Um, yeah. Actually, while we're here on the topic, I guess I'll mention just a quick plug. I'm getting ready to launch my course, which is called Working from the Heart. And it's exactly this topic of how to evoke the heart, how to go into the heart, and how to work with the heart, work from the heart. Hale sometimes uses the language, he talks about taking your stand as beingness. That's another way of calling it. But my particular approach is really the path of the heart. That's how I perceive the world. That's my own path. And yeah, what it's really about is knowing how to tap into the powers of the heart, which really include courage, wisdom, intuitive guidance, compassion, forgiveness, and there are many, many other words that describe what really is ultimately just one thing, which is love. And so that's why I started out this group release by letting go, but then we ended up on courage, gratitude. And again, these are the energies of the heart. And by releasing, we come to courage, acceptance, and peace. This is again the Sedona Method. And ultimately, what this really is to me, from my languaging, is resting in the heart. So I'll just mention that. I don't have a date set for it yet. There are further details, but there we have it. And Lisbeth, I saw that you had your hand up. Did you want to say something as well? Oh, well, I'll take that as a no.
No. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, you do?
Pushed the wrong button.
Sorry?
Okay, I pushed the wrong button. So, I would just like to share something. Like it's something like a game, but it's also like a little miracle, because so I'm on this call by coincidence. Yeah, Stephen?
Yes.
Sort of. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And by coincidence, this afternoon, I started getting my sewing machine, which I didn't use for 10 years, and grabbing some things. And there I found this little note. And it's a note I wrote 10 years ago. And it had 4 things like goals, 4 things like goals that I wrote down. And that was a message. I think it was Bob Proctor. I don't remember who it was, but anyway, there was a message like, you write down those 4 things that you really want in your life. You write them down, you make this little note, and you put it away. Well, actually, I haven't seen this for 10 years. And what's on the note? It's no, I'm full of how you call it, goosebumps.
Shivers. Yes.
Yeah. Because it says that my son is very happy because he wasn't at the time. So, and that he is now. I saw him a few hours ago. That I have a very good, that I have a very successful company with an income that I have an amount of money here, and it's twice the amount that I have here. Yeah. Which was at that time when I wrote it down, it was completely impossible. Like really, it was like out of my reach. It was a goal that was very, very far away. That I would live in the Archipel, which is a neighborhood here in a downstairs. And I got that house downstairs somewhere in that neighborhood. The only thing that didn't work out was it says, and a boyfriend. And I didn't get that. But the other thing, so I just read that, an hour ago before this call started. And I was like, what?
Oh my.
And that is about releasing. It has to do with releasing. It has to be with having a goal, wanting it, yet releasing on everything that's coming up as a contradiction or as an impossibility, and still kind of keep the faith and still keep focusing. Don't lose your focus, but do lose your wanting. Yeah. So, and that is really, and that's a coincidence, really, that I just found that. I mean,
It's more than just a coincidence.
Yeah.
The word is synchronicity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And no, but thank you so much for sharing that. That's very powerful, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Synchronicities are seeming coincidences that are actually quite meaningful.
Yeah.
And
they are. Yeah.
Again, though, as we let go of these limiting emotions, thoughts, stories, feelings, beliefs, we become more and more in touch with our natural flow, creativity, ease, intuition. And so you see synchronicities happening almost as if by magic. Why is it that just today, doing this call, Lisbeth reaches into her pocket and discovers...
No, really, 2 hours ago. Not today, 2 hours ago.
Yeah. Boom, shivers.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And really, all the things on the list were, at that moment, for me, impossible. Yeah, they were an impossibility. And I, that they were like, how am I going to, how will this happen in my life? These are my greatest wishes in my life. Yeah, it's just amazing. Yeah.
So, Cicely, go ahead and unmute.
Well, see, I guess that's my problem with setting goals, because in my life, it's kind of like all the things that, came about, I haven't ever wrote them down. I don't even, whenever the Juke is a car, whenever I first saw one of them, I thought, oh, that's a pretty car. But I don't remember myself like just saying, oh, I want it. And then like years later, we got a Nissan place that came to Dalton. And the first car that they showed me was a Rogue. And I was about to get it, but it felt a little too big for me. And so then he took me back to the back parking lot, and there was a Juke. I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to come here to get a Juke. I went to look at a Leaf because it was when the electric cars were coming out. And so could it be like, in that case, was I unknowingly releasing on it? Because for some reason, my subconscious kept it or something. Because then when I saw it,
Yeah.
I remember, oh, I did think those cars were neat, but that wasn't even what I came there to look at.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a lot of talk about manifesting, isn't there?
Yeah.
A lot of people are, if you just hold this in mind, hold this in your heart, and really believe that it's true for you, then it comes true. Fine. What this often ignores, however, is what we were talking about with Hogna, how with Lawrence, how the unconscious desires may be in conflict. So there's a lot of things happening in, below awareness that, well, they interfere and block these kinds of things. The goals process helps to bring this material up. And the Sedona Method is about, again, it provides us tools for letting go of these things. And then what it's really about is when there's no when there's no contradictions to these feelings, this is the feeling of it, and there's no contradiction, then yeah, sure, why not? Does that make sense, Elizabeth? Elizabeth, did I explain that properly, do you think?
Yeah, but what's in my mind is that there should be focus. Or should, there should nothing, but if there's something you really want, and for instance, I wanted to have this, not this particular house, but yes, I mean, it's like a miracle that I got this house, and I did focus on it like all the time, without, and I did not have the money, but without focusing, but without. Like it's like giving it and then forgetting about it, focusing and then forgetting about it. That's how it happened.
Yes.
But there was a very clear feeling that this this belongs to me. Like not like ego or I want this, but I should be here. This is my place. And it was like a deep feeling. Maybe you could say it's from the heart. It was not like wanting it, but it was really like I belong here, and then it happened.
But it happened when you stopped thinking about it.
No, not so much. Yeah, I stopped thinking about it all the time. But again, I refocused. Like, yeah, that's it. That's going there again, because otherwise, if you think, okay, that's not mine, it's okay, let's forget about it, then something else might happen. Then it might not be your goal.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's fine too. But this was my goal. Yeah, this place.
Right.
Yes.
Well, so part of the goals process is also about discerning what is really your heart's true desire.
Exactly.
And what is just maybe somebody else's idea. For example, do I really want $1 million?
Yeah.
Or do I want to have a steady income and stability? Is that $1 million actually what the heart really desires? Or is it enough just to do a simple job and earn a simple income and live well?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so this is also a process of discovering those things.
Yeah, and that you find out by doing the whole goal process with action steps as well.
Yeah, I saw Deborah had her hand up, or Deborah. Did I say that right? I'm so sorry. I see the way you've written is Deborah. So did you want to say something?
Yeah, so I really just wanted to thank you for helping me through that because like I said, I just was concerned about mentioning everything because it felt so dramatic, and it was as if I was in some sort of nightmare. And then I tried to figure it out, and that didn't work. So then I just said, I don't want anything. And then I, I just didn't even know where to go from there. I was just like, I'm just gonna go to the goal workshop, and maybe something good will come of being in the workshop because I was not doing well trying to set up a goal on my own, and it just felt almost impossible. Like I really thought for a second, like, is this what it means to actually be going crazy momentarily?
Yeah. Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you for coming, and thank you for stepping up to release as well.
Oh, grateful. And I can't remember what she said earlier. It was something that Lisa said earlier. Oh, well, you know what? Is this call is recorded?
Yes.
Because then I can listen. Because there was something she said that I couldn't take the notes fast enough. But good, it's recorded. I'll listen to it again.
Perfect. Yeah. Now this, I'll send the link out. This will be on YouTube, and you will be able to listen to it. And by the way, also, just in addition to what I said, we think that we're stepping up to achieve our own goals and to release our limitations, and there is a sense of that. But actually, that assumes that we're all separate individuals, which is how it seems to be. But at the heart, we're all connected. And in the heart, your freedom is everybody else's freedom. Just as you may have noticed that the people stepping up to talk about their goals and their problems, oh, well, that sounds familiar. That's my problem. That's my goal. So in that sense, nothing is really unique or personal. And in that sense, that little freedom that you've achieved is also freedom on behalf of all.
That makes sense. Because I have released just listening to other people share either what they were doing or what they wanted to release on, and it was a huge help and saved me from having to embarrass myself because I seem to can't release without crying, like crying bucket, like it's very exhausting.
Crying, that's one way of releasing, absolutely. Laughing, also very similar.
I'd much rather laugh. That would be so much easier.
Well, you can do both. Crying is, yeah,
Mm,
whatever it takes. In the end, whatever it takes. No?
true.
Yeah. And again, it takes courage to cry in public on a recorded call. Hello.
Mm,
I respect
yeah.
that.
Mm.
Well, so we've gone way over time, and who cares? I don't. Would you like to release on goals? Shall we do a final release and just wrap up the
Yeah,
call? What do you
that would
say?
be awesome.
Nice. Okay. So just allow yourselves to come to rest and allow all to be as it is, just in this moment and just for now. And then call to mind your goal statement. You can say it out loud. You can say it in your mind, however it works for you. You can even write it down. I recommend that in certain circumstances. So just repeat your goal statement and then just notice what comes up, what's stimulated by that. Could be sensations in the body. Some of us feel things more in the body. Could be thoughts, images, sounds, memories, stories, beliefs. And just for now, could you give all of that permission to be here since it's here anyway? What have you got to lose? And just open up even one more notch to what's here, to what's been stirred up. And then notice any resistance to this, any wanting to change it, figure it out, drop it, any resistance. And since resistance is here, can you just honor it and allow it to be here? And then check and see if this just might feel personal, because this is your goal. This is about you. Just notice that feeling of how intensely personal it seems to feel, and allow it to feel that way just for now. And then, when you're ready, could you let this go? Are you able to? Would you let this go? Are you willing? And when? And simply allow it all to fade, drop, dissipate. And then let's double back again. State your goal statement, either to yourself or out loud. And notice what this stirs up. Notice any feelings in the body, sensations. Notice any thoughts, images, memories, sounds, stories. Notice what gets kicked up by the goal statement. And just open yourself even just a little bit further to it with curiosity and possibly even a smile. Can you just allow it, since it's here anyway? And then check for any resistance, any desire to figure this out, drop this, make it be different, control it, any resistance. And then notice any sense in which it might just feel personal. Your goal, your success, your failure. And allow that to be like that if that's how it is. And then check, is any of this actually you? Are you these thoughts and feelings and sensations? Or could you be open to the possibility that you're simply aware of thoughts, memories, feelings, and sensations? And just for this moment, could you allow yourself to rest as that awareness? And just for fun, I'll ask the question that points in that direction. Are you aware? Are you aware? Just notice how thoughts come and they go. Sensations show up in the body and they shift and they move and they dissipate. Feelings come and go. And let's go back one more time. Could you just repeat to yourself your goal statement out loud or to yourself? And when you're ready, just notice what comes up. Notice the feelings, thoughts, and sensations. And just as best you can, could you allow all of that to be here? Give it permission just for now. And now let's just move into the body. Just check and see if this shows up in sensation in the body. And if it does, just as best you can, turn your focus entirely to the body. Focus on whatever sensations are happening in the body. And would you be open to the possibility that these sensations have no explanation, require no description, have no name or label? Could you just allow all of this to be raw energy in the body, just for now? Just notice it, hold it in your awareness, and make this your entire focus. And then, would you give it permission to be just like this for as long as it needs to be like this and to do whatever it needs to do, this energy in the body? Would you give it permission to do just exactly what it needs to? Would you? When? And then, when you're ready, turn your focus towards that upon which all sensations appear. And allow yourself to rest as that awareness. And allow sensations to be as they are and do what they do. And then turn your focus back into the body and the sensations expressing in the body and check. Are they the same, or have they shifted, or do they continue to shift? And notice the freedom that exists right there in the heart of awareness, right next to seeming sensation. And then when you're ready, whatever remaining sensation, whatever remaining feeling, thought, could you just let all of this go? Would you? When? Well, that feels like it. We've reached the 2-hour mark, which is fine. Deborah, did you want to say one thing more? Go ahead. You'll need to unmute.
No, I think that was just an icon, that emoji that rolled past.
Okay, everybody, thank you. I'm going to end the call. I think we're good for now. And I'd like to thank you all for coming and for the courage that it takes to work on your goals. Oh, thank you, Perez. You're welcome to unmute if you'd like to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank
We'll
you.
do this
See you. Bye.
1 week from now. All right. Then.
1 week from now.
1 week from now. All right, then. Bye for now.
Bye bye.